morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the John Moore Show. I am your host, sitting in for John Moore today, Tim Spencer from the Rural Survival Show. Today is Thursday, the 15th day of August, in the year of our Lord, 2019. Hope everybody's having a great morning. In the second half hour of this hour, we have Mr. Tom Berryhill scheduled to be on. We'll discuss the energy cleaner for about 24 minutes in total airtime. Looking forward to that. Okay, folks, if you want to call in now, since this first half hour is open lines, you can go ahead and do so at 1-800-313-9443. We'll talk about pretty much anything you want to. Wow, there is so much going on in the news. I don't even know where to start, folks. Financially, I just saw a headline that I absolutely agree with. It was quite simply entitled, "Everything is Broken." And the writer of that headline is absolutely correct. We've got 210-year bond inversion, first time since 2007, and you guys remember what happened in 2008, the last time that happened. All U.S. Treasuries are below 2% now. There's within just a few basis points of an inversion between the 3-month and the 30-year. That, as far as I know, is uncharted territory. If I'm wrong, call me and correct me. From what I can see in silver, gold, and other precious metal prices, they're dropping during the day, going back up at night. I personally attribute that to margin calls. As you know, the market dropped around 800 points yesterday. China came out and said that they hoped the U.S. would meet them halfway on this trade war. And then later they came out and said that Trump's proposed 10% tariffs on the remaining imports from China would absolutely not be tolerated. So that's interesting. I don't have a silver ball. I don't know what to predict. I meant a crystal ball, not a silver ball. Anyway, what I am doing, not what I would do, what I have done, and not that I own any treasuries or bonds of any kind, corporate or sovereign, or am I involved in the stock market. But if I were, I would be diversifying basically into precious metals, particularly silver. I like silver better than gold because when it's expected to have per dollar invested a much higher return than gold. Whereas silver right now is about 17.25 an ounce. There's a lot of people that I truly respect saying we're looking at $160 to $200 gold within a year, or not gold, silver within a year. Therefore, many-fold increases where gold, they're saying, is probably going to be up around 5,000 in a year or so. So my bet would be on silver. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm actively procuring as much silver as I can. I can tell you what I'm doing, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. That would be wrong. Okay, apparently Beijing has had enough of Hong Kong. From what I'm seeing, right now, as in real time, it looks like the Chinese, what they call the PAP, People's Armed Police, which is a militia-type police loyal to Beijing, is mobilizing in full. They call it exercises. Well, they've got all their vehicles outside of the holding areas, and they're heading south, if that tells you anything. And Beijing also came out with a statement saying that basically, we're not going to put up with this crap anymore. Thankfully, Trump has bowed out of the situation, and I'm not sure if it's a quote, but he basically said, "Let China handle China." I ardently agree with that. There is no reason for us to get into it with China over an internal affair. I say let them handle it. We don't need to do anything. We don't need to send anybody, especially our troops, in to do anything. From the research I've done, I cannot find any treaty with Hong Kong. Now, we have treaties with Taiwan, but not Hong Kong. So I agree. Let them handle it. Let us stay out of it. Please. I hope we stay out of it. Okay, folks, calling numbers 1-800-313-9443, 1-800-313-9443. Give me a call here at Republic. Julie will put you right through, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. Now, let me see. I had several things marked, and now I can't find them. That's normal for me. Let's see. As of 7:34 Eastern, U.S. future slide yields plunge after China spurned Trump vows retaliation. Yeah, we already covered that one. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the markets are going nuts. They are. I don't know. I looked at the futures earlier. They were up. They were down. I don't know what it's going to do today. I actually just closed the page, said to heck with it. They were moving so far up and down. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. One piece of advice, folks, and please don't take this as financial advice, just a heads up. If you have a 401k, see what the content, and when I say the content, what the various aspects of that 401k are. Are they bonds? Are they stocks? You know, what is your 401k involved in? It's your 401k. You have a right to know what's in it. If it's not to your liking, and you're allowed to do it, make changes. If you're not allowed to make changes, then see if there's a way you can take part of it out, pay the penalties, pay the taxes, and put that money where you want it. Not where the broker says it needs to be, but where you want it. That's just a piece of friendly advice, heads up. Because right now, I can all but guarantee you we're going to be seeing negative interest rates on treasuries. I mean, it's a given. There's no way around it. Probably by the end of the year. But right now, nothing is paying more than 2%. And I mean nothing as far as U.S. treasuries go. You've got some junk bonds, and there's a reason they're called junk bonds, that are paying more than 2%. But there's 15 trillion out there in bonds that are paying nothing or negative rates. So, I mean, it's your money, folks. Don't let anybody push you around. Find out what you got in that 401k or that IRA or whatever they call them now. Find out what you have in it. It's up to you. Nobody's going to do it for you. You know, protect yourself. So that's a little piece. I don't know if that's financial advice or not. If it is, oh well, come get me. But, you know, that's just a heads up. Most people don't know what they've got in their 401ks. Find out. Your responsibility. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Let me open up Drudge here. Oh, I know one thing that was going on. Just thought about it. Coroner in New York, in reference to Jeffrey Epstein's body, has said, I think it's hyoid bone in his neck. I'll pull it up here. Anyway, they're saying that most of the time, and their number was 16 out of 264 hangings, is all that the I can't even say it. Here, I'll just read you what it says. An autopsy found that financier Jeffrey Epstein sustained multiple breaks in his neck bones, according to two people familiar with the findings, deepening the mystery about the circumstances around his death. Among the bones broken in Epstein's neck was the hyoid bone, which in men is near the Adam's apple. Such breaks can occur in those who hang themselves, particularly if they're older, according to forensic experts and studies on the subject. But they are more common in victims of homicide by strangulation, unquote. Now, I'm going to jump in here for a second. I want to know what other bones in his neck were broken, but this article doesn't say so. I did read an article, not this one, from LMT Online, but I did read an article that said in a study done out of, it was a small study, 264 suicides by hanging, or what they assumed were suicides. Only 16 of those cases, across the spectrum, male, female, age, and all that, had the hyoid bone broke. And there was another study of 2,000 homicides by strangulation, and it was less than, it was less than 20% did not have the hyoid bone breaking. So the signs are pointing to what we all suspect. And then you couple that with the fact that Mr. Epstein was reported screaming and yelling and all before they found him dead. I don't know why the guards didn't check on that. You know, there's so much we don't know. I almost hate to speculate. But as the old saying goes, if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, well, there you go, folks. I did read another article that I think people on the Atlantic and Gulf Coast should be interested in. The talking head weather experts are saying that this hurricane season is going to be backloaded, which means what they're predicting is there's going to be a time frame between August 20 and mid-October when they expect the storm season, or the number of storms, named storms, to really intensify. Now, they give all kinds of technical reasons for this that I'm not going to go into. But it's just a heads up, folks. If you live on the Gulf Coast, you always got to be prepared for storms. We all know that. I mean, I lived on, the Atlantic coast and the Gulf Coast from the time I was born until I got out of the Navy at about 28 years old. I've been through more storms than I can count. It's something you always got to be ready for. So the worst one was Hurricane Hugo, and boy, was that a doozy. Man, 6 weeks without basically anything. And thank God for the commissary on Charleston Naval Base is all I can say. But anyway, let me see what else is going on. By the way, folks, you want to call in and comment, 1-800-313-9443. Okay. Here's one I didn't know, and I have not read the article. Jeffrey Epstein traveled to Cuba at Fidel Castro's invitation. That's interesting. Right below that on Drudge, just shows a photograph. Now, it could be photoshopped, I don't know, but it is truly funny. But it shows a picture of Clinton in a blue dress. I mean, President Clinton, not Witch. In a blue dress, with red high heel shoes on, lounged across a chair, and I don't know if that's inside the White House or not. But anyway, old Epstein had it hanging in his house there in New York. Interesting. By the way, they did find just Ghislaine Maxwell, his cohort, and all this nasty stuff, living up in New Hampshire with a boyfriend. She's lying low. Some people say she's cooperating. Some people say she's hiding from the law. I don't know what the truth is. And to me, this whole thing about Epstein being suicided or homicided or committing suicide, it's not that important who did it, why, or how, when. None of that's important to me. I want to know why. These powerful people had to know that they couldn't contest the evidence grabbed in the search warrants against Epstein once he's dead. I mean, these are not dumb people. But now that's the case. Who did it is unimportant. Why it was done is what I truly want to know. I mean, come on, guys. Something is not right. So, this is an interesting article I'm going to read during the break. Truck drove into ICE protesters outside prison. Guard was at wheel. That ought to be interesting. I haven't read it yet, but it ought to be interesting. U.S. moves to seize Iranian tanker detained off Gibraltar. Not too sure about how wise that is. Unless somebody's trying to start a war. I don't think Trump is, but some of his people might be trying to. Hope not. You know, these neocons that try to start these wars or actively work for one to get started, they're never going to be the guys on the battlefield. Their kids are never going to lose their lives fighting. If they want a war, I say let them lead the charge, so to speak. These civilians, most of them don't even know what a gunshot sounds like, much less have lost a limb or lost a kid or a father or a mother or sibling to combat. They're too good for that. They're too rich for that. I say let them lead the charge. They want a war, let them lead it. You know, I understand there's a need for a military, there's a need for defense. But folks, our founding fathers said stay clear of foreign entanglements. I agree with them. You know, I wish everybody we had deployed everywhere around the world would be brought back home. I really do. Thank goodness my son got back. He's in a warrior transition unit right now. Supposed to get out first or second week of September. You know, what can I say, folks? When it's your kid over there, war does not look good. And I'll drop that subject. I'll get off my soapbox there. Anyway, let's see what else we got going on. And by the way, folks, give me a call, 1-800-313-9443. We'll go anywhere you want. Okay, we got a break. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We here at RBN are working with Front Sight Firearms Training Institute to bring our audience the best in combat, tactical, and defensive firearms training. Whether you're a private citizen who is new to firearms, or you have a concealed weapon permit and want a level of training that surpasses what you've received from your local gun range, Front Sight provides priceless education and skills taught by seasoned law enforcement, military, and private citizen instructors to levels that far exceed law enforcement and military standard. With nearly 1 million responsible citizens trained from every town, city, and state from across the United States, Front Sight has bolstered the Patriot movement to a whole new level. Contact Dan Sutterfield by phone at 573-762-2356 or 573-465-2356 or shoot him an email at domedan, DOMEDAN, at hotmail.com. This is a limited time opportunity. Don't miss it.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Thursday, the 15th day of August, the year of our Lord, 2019. This is Tim Spencer sitting in for John Moore on this, I already gave today. Sorry about that. All right, folks, I'm going to put in a shameless plug for my radio show. I haven't done it all week. I've resisted the temptation, but what the heck. I'd like to invite everybody listening and your friends and family to tune in to the Rural Survival Show. And it's hosted by me, my wife Lori, and one of the smartest men I know, Mr. Rick Schmidt. It airs right here on RBN from 10 a.m. until noon Central. We talk about all kinds of things, basically everything to do with gardening, politics, religion. We talk about all kinds of things. We have a heck of a following. We'd love to have you call in. And we'd love to see you there. Okay, end of my shameless plug. Also, if you have a chance, go over to thelibertyman.com. That's thelibertyman.com. You'll find tons of great information there. Just, a lot of products that John Moore sells. Just tons of stuff. Take a while, look around the site. I think you'll really like it. And then, of course, going back to my radio show for a second, we also have ruralsurvival.show. Yeah, that's the TLD for .show. Ruralsurvival.show. There you can find out everything about the show. You can contact us. We don't sell anything on the site, but you're welcome to look around. It's just sort of a place where you can find out about the show. All right. Hopefully here after the next break, we're going to have Mr. Tom Berryhill on. We'll talk about the energy cleaner if he comes on. And even if he doesn't, we'll talk about the energy cleaner a little. It's one of my favorite products. It's given me 10 years of my life back, folks. And it is truly worth the money, which really isn't much, less than $300. It really is a fine product. Okay. I opened up a couple of tabs here that I found interesting. I thought you might too. The first one's from New Atlas. Astro Robodog packs an AI-enabled brain in its 3D printed head. The picture is kind of interesting. They say it cannot be knocked over. It looks to me like it's made of carbon fiber, the outside body. Now, my thinking on this is that it's AI. There's a very good possibility that it could be used to perhaps replace police dogs that these dumb cops keep leaving in hot cars to die all the time. Now, it's happened twice in our county in the past 10 years. Maybe this is the way to go. I don't know. It's a lot cheaper to charge it than feed it, I bet. It weighs 100 pounds. And it utilizes a deep neural network to learn new tasks through a process of trial and error. I'm not saying this is the way to go, but it's certainly something I think they ought to be looking at. All right, close that one out, go to the next one. This is the one I was talking about earlier. U.S. moves to seize Iranian tanker detained off Gibraltar. U.S. on Thursday applied for seizure of an Iranian oil tanker detained near the British overseas territory of Gibraltar. now the center of a standoff between Tehran and London. The public prosecutor said, the U.S. Department of Justice, I just read that. Here's the part I don't understand. It says, the tanker, which is suspected of violating EU sanctions on oil shipments to Syria, was seized on July 4th. British Royal Navy did it off Gibraltar. And, of course, it created more tensions. Now, why is the U.S. concerned with violating EU sanctions? European Union, United States, two separate entities. Now, this article doesn't say why. I don't know. Does that make sense to you guys? U.S., EU. Why is the U.S. dipping into this except to escalate tensions? You know, I don't think I'm a dummy. But then again, maybe I'm missing something. If you think I am, give us a call and we'll talk about it. The other one I mentioned, correctional officer allegedly drove pickup truck into a group of peaceful protesters. Quote, he ran us over, unquote. Here it says a correctional officer drove a pickup truck into a group of Jewish peaceful demonstrators protesting outside the Wyatt Detention Center in Rhode Island on Wednesday night. It says hundreds of Jewish protesters, mostly Never Again Action, which, of course, I'm sure you folks realize is a group that tries to prevent anything like the Holocaust from happening again. We've got 3 minutes, hopefully. We've got Mary Hill. Stand by.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the Energy Cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get to get an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an energy cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much.
There we go. Oops. Oh, boy. All right, Julie, can you hear me now? Okay, there we go. All right, folks. Had some kind of a Skype technical difficulty. I wasn't muted. I don't know what was going on, but those things happen on live radio. Anyway, this is Tim Spencer sitting in for John Moore on Thursday, the 15th day of August, year of our Lord, 2019. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. On the line, we've got my friend, Mr. Tom Berryhill, and we're going to spend about a half hour talking about the energy cleaner. Good morning, Tom.
Hi, Tim. Good morning. I'll give our disclaimer first.
Okay.
We're not doctors or medical professionals. We don't diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease. The information discussed today is for your education and entertainment only. If you have a medical condition requiring treatment, you should utilize the services of a medical doctor, chiropractor, or other competent practitioner.
Okay. Now, Tom, we've been talking, when I say we, you, me, John, all of us, for 10 years or so. I know our regular listeners have probably learned more about the energy cleaner than any other single group of people on the planet. But I still think we need a quick overview of what it is. What do you think? For our new listeners, I'm saying.
Well, sure, Tim, and I think that's a good idea. And the energy cleaner is an electrostatic voltage generator. And what it does is it acts as a set of jumper cables for every cell in your body. Every cell is like a pump, and it has to push out toxic waste material and pull in fresh nutrition from the bloodstream. And the cells will get sluggish, they get toxic, they get built up with sludge and so on, and you need to get those cells pumping again on a regular basis. So what happens is the energy cleaner comes in, like I said, a set of jumper cables, and gives those cells the boost that they need to start pumping again. And it just improves circulation, and it just helps in those ways. But when the body can start operating properly at the cellular level, a lot of things fall into place, and the body can clean itself up and take care of a lot of issues. It helps a lot with pain. I know John talks about better sleep, pain relief. We mainly focus on pain relief and better sleep, Tim, but you know that many other things have been helped by this technology. But unfortunately, in this country, we're not able to talk about those things. I think the listeners can read between the lines. If the body can clean itself up at the cellular level, so many different things will just vanish and go away. We've had people, Tim, over the years, I've been doing this now for nearly 20 years, and we've had people that were told there's nothing more we can do for you. It's hospice, and it's the end of the line, and so on, only to find out that those people are still alive and with us today, many years later.
I was one of those people, Tom. Remember, I was getting ready to go in a nursing home.
Oh, yes. Yes, Tim. I mean, you had some major issues, health issues, and dealing with pain. I know you talked about they had to rotate different pain medications for you because they didn't want you to get addicted to any type, so they would change that. And are you still on pain meds, or are you
none
cut
whatsoever.
way back?
None at all. The VA has changed its policy. Believe there's days I'd like to have a pain pill or two, but the VA has basically changed their policy. And I'm not saying what the written policy is. I don't know, but from what I can see, unless you're terminal, you don't get pain pills. I mean, the last operation on my stump on my left leg, they gave me 4 pain pills, and they basically did a re-amputation of it. They sent me home with 4 pain pills the next day, if that tells you anything. It was not fun.
They cut way back. I would think most of the time, in most cases like that, they would prescribe quite a bit of pain medication, but only 4. That's
only amazing. 4, and they were something called. Basically, what they were was. There's a name for it, and I'm drawing a blank. Starts with an N. Norco. and they're about the least amount of a pain medication you can get. I mean, it's like, a gummy bear as far as how effective it is on pain. It's nothing.
Well, so that's good. I mean, I know for a while there you were on quite a bit of pain medication.
Oh, I was on everything you can imagine, and they rotated me one so I wouldn't get addicted to it again. I got addicted to one called Tylox. That was not fun. Had no idea I was addicted to it. I took it for 6 straight years. I had no idea I was addicted to it until they took me off of it. And that was basically what they did. They sent an ambulance out the house, gave me this little tiny bottle of phenobarbital, and they said, take one every 2 hours and you'll be fine. And there was about 50 of them in that little tiny bottle. It looked like a nitroglycerin bottle. And that got me off of it. But make long story short, they had me on all kinds of pain medicine. The pain medicine quit working. I'd have to go on something else. I've been on it for X number of months. They didn't want me to get addicted again. And I was actually the one pushing that, the non-addiction thing. I never wanted to go through that again. That was hell. So.
Well, Tim, I remember one time a gentleman called, I think he was in Wisconsin, and called on behalf of his father-in-law, who was in such great pain that he could barely function, and a morphine drip was no longer effective.
I remember that.
The pain. Do you?
I remember that. Yes, I do.
And I remember the gentleman was calling for his father-in-law, and he was wondering if the energy cleaner would help. And
right.
Of course, we told him we didn't know. I mean, there's times it doesn't help as much as we'd like. There's certain people it just doesn't help at all, but that's a very, very small percentage. But he did get an energy cleaner, and I remember him calling back several weeks later saying that his father-in-law was using it and had great success and no longer had the pain issues and is now living a normal life and was able to get out of the house and go about his daily routine without the pain issues again. So that was a success story right there. It's nice when people call back and let us know about their success with this. It helps us to get the word out to other people.
Well, you know what I like? I'm sure, John, you and I didn't meet until a couple of years after this time, at least not face-to-face. But, I went to this expo down in Springfield. Vince Finelli put it on. Hell of a nice guy, by the way. And John gave me an energy cleaner on the way back, batteries for it, piece of screen wire. And, I noticed effects within about 3 days. But I waited about 3 weeks to come on the air. And that's all beside the point. I was just giving a little lead up. Well, folks, I was hurting so bad down there in Springfield. I could not sit. I could not stand. The only thing I could do to relieve the pain was walk around some. And it looked like I was pacing John's booth. I know people thought I was crazy. But I did what I had to do. And that was on top of the pain medication. Now, let's fast forward 2 years. I'm cutting down, going back to one of my vocations, which was cutting trees. Had a business here for a while, selling firewood. In fact, I did right up until the day I broke my leg. And, I was outside daily doing stuff, going hunting, out there on the tractor, brush hogging. You name it, I was doing it. All stuff I could not do while I was in such severe pain. And the only thing that changed was me using the energy cleaner. So, that's my testimony. Short version, but my testimony. And I know you were in on this. You watched me progress, Tom, or at least heard me progress via the telephone. So,
I know John explained to me the situation that you were in with the pain and what you were going through, and it was a complete turnaround, Tim.
Yeah.
As far as I remember, if I recall correctly, you just were barely able to function. And I know what always got me was when you would describe how much it hurt to even take a breath. Now, when it hurts to breathe, that's really bad.
It did. It hurt every single breath, 24/7 hurt, even on my pain medication. And, you know, at that point, you start wondering, is it worth keeping going or not? You know, and this was, you know, and every year the pain seemed to get worse. Every year it got a little bit worse. And, you know, you start to really question yourself when it gets that bad.
Yeah, that's true, Tim. And, you know, there's many people that are on various pain medications, and they're unable to stop using those. But what the energy cleaner will do is assist them to perhaps cut that level down. If they're taking 3 or 4 pills a day, maybe they can get down to just 1 pill a day, or they can reduce the level of pain medications they need, because your body has to process all of that, and your liver has to filter out the debris that's left over and the various toxins and things that come along with it. So this just makes it a lot easier on your body if you can cut back on the dosage. Of course, you'd have to work with your medical professional who's helping you with this pain medication, but it's a pretty good chance that you could cut back on it somewhat. Sometimes you can't eliminate it totally, but we have heard from many people that have had 100% success, no more pain meds, but we have heard from those that are able to use the energy cleaner to cut the dosage. These are extreme cases. Most of the time, people will get total relief, and they won't need any pain medication at all. You're an extreme case, Tim, and you say you're down to 0, no pain medication at all. Is that right?
That's correct. That is correct. Yeah, none
whatsoever.
That's good. And what it does,
good.
It allows me to think faster, Tom. It really does.
Yeah, John would always mention the brain fog. You get in a brain fog with pain medication, and that's really true. And to just get rid of that is really a blessing, to tell you the truth, because how can you function if your brain can't really process your thoughts and so on?
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, I'll be honest with you, Tom. I would say the 10 years before I started started using the energy cleaner is just sort of like a lost 10 years of my life. It really is. It's just, I can barely remember any of it. You know, little bits and pieces I can remember, but there's so much of it I can't. And I attribute that to the massive amount of pain medication I was on.
You know, Tim, speaking of a lost 10 years, it's like memory issues. Remind me of people that have used the energy cleaner for Alzheimer's. They have actually been able to reverse that in many cases. And I remember one lady in particular, I believe she was in Tennessee, and her husband came on with Lee Kroc, who was the original inventor of the technology. This is years ago when Frank Whalen had a show on Republic Broadcasting, and they came on, and I remember he spent about an hour talking about that, how his wife had Alzheimer's, and they were able to reverse that in about a week's time. And the only issue that this woman had then was, for about 6 or 7 years, they had to fill her in on what happened and who these new people were, new grandchildren and so on, because this lady had no recollection of that. But she, at that point, could remember things when she was a child. She just had this 6 or 7 year gap in her memory that her family was filling her in all the details so she could kind of come up to speed. But other than that, she was back to normal. And I wish I had a copy of that show. Those archives were lost, but it was a fascinating story to hear that they told about this lady. It was amazing, but it did happen, and it worked quite well for that. And so many other issues can take care of themselves when you're using the energy cleaner. Again, if your body can flush out the waste material more effectively and clean out the toxins. We live in such a toxic environment, Tim, but if your body can flush out these toxins in a very efficient manner, it can fix itself. Your body will fix itself and do the repair work necessary. And the energy cleaner is really nothing more than, like I like to explain it that way, as a set of jumper cables to assist your body in doing the job that it was designed to do, and that is to repair itself on a regular basis. And sometimes we just need a boost. I think a lot of the problems we have, Tim, this is just my own theory, but it seems like ever since the invention of plastics came about, that we've had so many disease problems, and it just seems like perhaps the toxins that come from the plastic materials that are all around us. Food is packaged that way, just everything, food, water, all the things we consume come out of plastic containers, and these plasticizers that are in there are very toxic, and some of them not quite as much as others, but that stuff's in the environment. It's everywhere, and I just wonder if that's not a big source of the troubles that we live with today. But the energy cleaner will help to flush a lot of that out.
Okay, Tom. We'll be right back, folks. 3 minutes. Have one quick call, 1-800-313-9443. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. This is Tim Spencer sitting in for John Moore on the John Moore Show. We're visiting with Mr. Tom Berryhill, the manufacturer of one of my absolute favorite products, the energy cleaner. Okay, Tom, unfortunately, we've already hit our last break of the hour. I guess we ought to tell people how to go about ordering the energy cleaner, shouldn't we, from John's site? Do you want me to cover that? Or
yeah, you go ahead, Tim, but I want to make sure we talk for a minute about the agricultural uses. And, of course, you've had your experience with using the energy cleaner for that. But go ahead with the ordering details, and we'll talk about the rest of it in a minute.
All right, folks, really simple. Go to the libertyman.com. That's the libertyman.com. The Liberty Man, all being one word. On the top navigation bar of every page, you'll see something that says products. Click on that, go down a little bit, and you'll see the energy cleaner. You can read everything about it. You can order it from that page. John takes all major credit cards, or you can send him a check. There's a toll-free order line, or you can do it online. Extremely simple. Okay, Tom, agricultural use, hydroponics.
Right. Hydroponic greenhouses, big application there. Simple to use if you want to put it in your garden. If you want to get seedlings started, it's pretty simple. For a garden area, you could just put electric fence posts in like you would use for an electric fence, and use the insulators and use that to suspend a grid of chicken wire over the garden area. You want to get it as close as you can to the plants. And if you use the electric fence type of those fence posts, they have holes punched in there that allow you to move the grid up as the plants grow. So you'll have to move that chicken wire area. You'll have to move that over the garden area and move it up as the plants get taller. They'll get trapped in there and intertwined. It'll be a mess. So you have to kind of keep on top of that.
Right.
Also, in a hydroponic greenhouse, you just use stainless steel welding wire, and you stretch a strand of that welding wire down through the plant bed, the media that the plants grow in, and the nutrients flow through there, and it's always a damp environment, and that really transmits and conducts a signal from the energy cleaner quite well. So it's that simple. You just stretch that wire down through there, and that will energize that entire plant bed, and those plants will grow like crazy. And then to get your seedlings started, you can stretch out on a shelf. You can use a metal shelf and just energize the shelf if you want, or stretch out chicken wire or even aluminum foil onto a shelf or a table, wherever you're going to set up these seedlings, get them started. You just set them on top of that metal, and then you connect the energy cleaner wire to the metal, whether it be chicken wire or aluminum foil. Either one works quite well.
Right. But we got to make sure. We got to make sure, Tom, that people understand the wire cannot be grounded.
That's correct, and those plants will grow like crazy, as you learn.
Yes, sir. Tom, thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate it. And I guess I'll be talking to you tomorrow on Emergency Radio Communications.
I'll be ready in the morning.
Sounds great. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're supposed to have Steve Hunt on, and we're going to talk gold and silver. Be right back. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tim Spencer sitting in for John Moore on the John Moore Show. Today is the 15th day of August, year of our Lord, 2019, a Thursday. We've got patiently waiting a personal friend of mine, at least I like to call him a friend, Mr. Steve Hunt. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, sir? And how's that new baby?
She is amazing. She has slept through the night every night this week, and I am truly, truly blessed.
I know the feeling. I've got 3 of my own and a couple grandkids that have been raised here, so I know the feeling.
Yeah, that's great.
That is one. Yeah. Anyway, where do you want to go today, Steve? I've got a million questions for you. I'll keep you the whole hour if you want to be on.
I can only do 30. I have a client that will be here in about 30 minutes, actually. So.
Understood. No problem, buddy.
But go ahead. You can start with some questions.
Okay. As you know, I watch metal prices. I'm confined to a wheelchair. I don't have a lot else to do except watch YouTube videos after I get my work done for the day every day. But I've been noticing something, I'd say the past 3 days or so. Now, apparently gold and silver are pretty much running in tandem as far as the charts go. I've been noticing the prices spike as it gets into the Asian and European markets, but when it gets to our markets, it's dropping down. My question is this. That drop down, which is not normal, is that because people are trying to cover margin calls and stuff and flooding the market? What do you think the reasoning is for that?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of optimism. I think a lot of brokers are trying to push people to cash out of it. And I mean, stockbrokers hate gold and silver. It's just the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
They're not big fans of it. So, I think a lot of them are pushing people to get out of the markets. They're telling people not to, except for J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan is telling all their clients to buy into foreign currencies or into gold. I mean, it's on their website, for goodness sake. It says to start investing into foreign currencies and gold. So, but I also think that they're using optimism from Trump saying that, he might not enact any new tariffs until Christmas time. But, you look at last night, the news that came out, and futures were horribly down last night, and
yes.
Everybody was talking about, this morning it was going to be a really bad crash, and then all of a sudden China came out in their own news, and their own news said that they're hoping that Trump will meet them halfway on some of these trade issues, and just because of what China said, the market corrected and it rebounded. I mean, it was going to be down dramatically. It might have been one of the biggest crashes we've ever seen before we open, and all of a sudden because of that, it's now only down, or up a little bit, like 20 points. So it's silly. It's a lot of hopes and dreams and smoke that is not really happening. I mean, you can't really invest on rumors. It doesn't work that way.
No, but I think that's what people are doing, and it's scary to me. Right now.
I mean,
now I would say that even though silver's up $2 or $3 from what it was a couple of months ago, but it's still an excellent time to invest. I'm sitting here looking at silver at 1720 live right now. I'm looking at gold at 1514, which is quite a bit off the highs for the day. You might see by about $8. Now, I would call this a good time to invest specifically for wealth preservation. What's your opinion on that?
I think you're going to see gold and silver go much higher. I think people are underestimating how severe this crash is going to be. I really do. I think, seeing silver, go past $50, seeing gold go past, $3,000 or $4,000 is going to be what people should be expecting to see. I mean, if people are worried about, dollars in gold and 10, 20, 50 cents in silver, you guys are worrying about pennies instead of $100 bills. I mean, this is going to be a severe move in the market, and the dollar is going to tumble. And if you're waiting for little tiny movement or corrections to get into the market, you're missing out on a much bigger picture.
Right. Dollar amounts to me, Steve, are not important. The value of those dollars is what's important. And the way I see it, silver and gold both preserve the value, regardless of where the dollar goes. Would you agree with that?
Yep. That's the whole thing. Well, gold especially. Gold is a preservation of wealth. I mean, it always has been. An ounce of gold will buy you the same thing it did 20 years ago. You go back to 2000 and January 2000 and look at prices, national averages for things, and you see that, gas was on average, $1.18 a gallon. You look at, how much eggs were, $1 a carton. Everything was a certain price. And you look at what they are today. National average on gas is like $2.75. And then you look at eggs. You're spending $2.50. Everything has gone up 2 or 3 times in price. As has gold. Gold has gone up 3 times. So it's gold's going to maintain your purchasing power all throughout life. That's all it does. It's insurance on your wealth. Silver is a place you put your money into if you're trying to make money. That's your gamble on your investment, because silver goes to $50. I mean, you're talking a 3-time return on your investment. And that's not going to take much to go there. Silver's been suppressed by the big companies, J.P. Morgan's and Edward Jones. They've played with this price for far too long. And, once they take their hold off of it, I think it's going to go to $100 or $200.
Oh, I absolutely agree. There was a time I took a screenshot of it. It was a couple, 3 months ago. I don't remember when it was, Steve. But silver spiked up by, maybe $1.50 an ounce. This is memory. I'm not looking at the chart now. But you could actually see where paper silver was being sold over the period of about 20 minutes. And you could just see this perfect stair step down, 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 every couple of minutes. And, I took a screenshot of it. I sent it to my co-host, Rick Schmidt, and we both got a good laugh out of that. No, it's not manipulated or nothing. But, yeah, they do.
What's funny about that is, but you go back to 2008 through 2010, and you look at what stockbrokers were putting people into during that massive run. I mean, silver went from $7 to $30 in a matter of 2 years. I mean, that's a huge run. And brokers were putting people into mining companies that were losing money. I mean, people that were in mining shares, if you go back and look at almost all mining shares back then, almost everybody lost money. I mean, it was a horrible investment, for people. Why you wouldn't invest in the actual price of metal, or take physical metal doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I agree. Now the push is on for mining shares again, from what I've been reading. I've even looked at a couple of prospectus of these companies, and on paper they look great. But but the thing is, with inflation, their costs to mine keep going up, and that is going to drag down, their profits. Make their operating costs higher, their profits go lower. It's simple math. So I'm on your side on this one, buddy. I say get the physical. Back with the stock market.
I have so many clients that have lost fortunes in mining stocks. I mean, look, a mining stock is like baloney. it's a lot of things mixed into one little thing, and it's you better hope that they're on good ground. You better hope they know how to manage production costs. You better hope they know how to manage the salaries and the fuel costs and everything else. And it's just so many things to worry about. And I have a really close friend who lost, and when I say millions, I mean millions of dollars in one mining share alone. And it was $23, and now today I think it's like 25 cents. And and we're talking from 2008 to today. I mean, it's such a gamble. It's just not worth it. You might as well go to Vegas and bet on red. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, I agree with you. However, 25 cents, I might be tempted to, to buy 300 shares just for the fun of it and watch what happens. Like putting a couple dollars in the slot machine.
Yeah. He actually doubled down and he bought when it got down to 50 cents, and it went down to 10 cents, and then it's back up to 25. I mean, it's unfortunate. The problem is people watch it go down, and people will just ride that train all the way down, hoping that it comes back. And sometimes you just got to say enough's enough. Take your money out and go somewhere else and try to make your money back.
Yeah, well, I've never made money in the stock market, ever. But on precious metals, right at this particular point in time, from when I started buying and my wife started buying, we're up 300%.
Oh, wow.
In value.
That's great.
I don't got that much, Steve, but I'm just saying percentage-wise, it's great. One of the best buys made in 1994. She bought
it. Doesn't take much to make that much money, does it?
No, it doesn't.
It does. It's great. I mean, if you think about silver, it's $17 to get an ounce of silver. I mean, if you only have a couple $1,000 and you pick up some silver, it doesn't matter if you have $2,000. If it goes with 300%, you have $6,000. That's the whole point of this. Is percentage is return on investment. That's your goal. It shouldn't matter what the cost is to get in. It doesn't matter how much you're getting in return. ROI is all anybody should care about.
Right, exactly. Now, I've bought a bunch of smaller silver coins, like 10th ounce, quarter ounce, with primarily the idea of barter, if it ever comes to that. And I haven't really lost anything, except the premiums were ridiculous. I haven't really lost anything if the dollar all of a sudden magically gets stable again. I haven't lost a penny.
Yeah.
That's the way
I've got a ton of 1/10 ounce silver rounds. I mean, my biggest fear is going to a gas station or going to a store, and the guy behind the counter says, what is a dime? Is 10 cents, and they don't understand that it's 90% silver. So I went and had a whole bunch of 10th ounce silver rounds made, and all the rounds say 999. Fine 1/10 ounce of a troy ounce of silver. So I've made this as proof that anybody can read this and know what it is as possible. So we'll see how it goes.
Right. Now, do you have those in stock now, Steve?
Yeah. No, I actually just placed another order 2 days ago, for about 20,000 of them. So it's going to take a while to get them minted.
All right. Put me down for 10 ounces of them total when you get them in, please.
Yeah, I will. Yep, I'll let you know.
Okay, that works. Now, folks, if you want to buy from Steve, the easiest way to do it, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, jump in here anytime, is to go to John Moore's website. There is the Swiss America logo up there. It's a red box with 90-degree stripes on it. You click on that, and that takes you to Steve's place of business. Now, you also have a number, too, Steve. Can you give that number out twice slowly so people can write it down?
Sure can. My direct line here is 1-800-630-1491. I'll say it again, 1-800-630-1491. And that will come straight to my desk.
All right. Now, I'm curious, Steve. I know that most people aren't going to care about this, but people that are avidly into silver and gold like I am do. On your new 1/10 ounce coins, is there a premium per coin or a premium per order? How does that work, buddy?
So on the 10th ounce, the smaller the coin goes, the higher the price does go on them, only because you got to pay for the mint to stamp them. And those stamps only last about 15,000 impressions. So once those stamps wear out, I got to pay for another stamp, and they got to make more. So the cost of those stamps get built into all the coins. Whereas if you're talking, 150 ounces, whereas if I was doing 1 ounce coins, you're talking 15,000 ounces. It's a huge difference. So there's not so much of a premium per se, but it's the cost of the stamp that goes into the coin.
Understood. And yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I got a feeling a lot of our listeners didn't know that. I did. I'm very happy you made that point. Well, folks, you've heard it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And I'm in complete agreement with everything Steve has said here. I agree with him about gold. I agree with him about silver. But yet gold is $1,500 an ounce. But, folks, if you don't have the money to buy an ounce of gold, there are fractional rounds and bars, or you can go for silver and get a greater quantity in ounces, but, of course, it's worth much less right now. But either one, in my opinion, is a good investment. Now, Steve, I know you can convert IRAs, or at least most IRAs, to precious metals, which I think is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Can you tell people a little bit how that works?
Yeah, that's probably my biggest business right now is so many people are trying to protect their retirement accounts. Let's face it, that's most of the people, in the United States, that's their savings account for, the future. Mm-hmm. And we got so many people that are rolling over 401ks and IRAs and 403bs. Basically the process is we roll over your account into another trust company. So it's still 100% in an IRA. It's still 100% tax deferred. And we use those funds to purchase the actual physical metal. Bars, coins, it has to be modern day stuff. It can't be anything old or anything, numismatic, no rare Indians or nothing like that. It has to be modern day.
Just bullion.
Yeah, correct. And then we take those coins and we send them to a place called Delaware Depository, which is one of the only approved facilities that's allowed to hold your metal for you. And they hold it there. So your money is invested in physical coin. And then should you get to a point where you're taking RMDs, your mandatory distributions, or you want to take a distribution, we'll send you a form and it will say, do you want to take that distribution in kind or in cash? And what that means is if you want cash, they'll send the metal to me. I will send a check to your custodian, and they will send you the funds. If you want the actual metal, you can do that. You can write, I want to take it in kind, and the depository will actually send you the physical metal to your doorstep, and that's how you take your distributions. So it's an easier way of taking acquisition of metal into your hands through your retirement account.
Right. Now, hang on through the break, Steve. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in 3 minutes. 1-800-313-9443.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. and knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We here at RBN are working with Front Sight Firearms Training Institute to bring our audience the best in combat, tactical, and defensive firearms training. Whether you're a private citizen who is new to firearms, or you have a concealed weapon permit and want a level of training that surpasses what you've received from your local gun range, Front Sight provides priceless education and skills taught by seasoned law enforcement, military, and private citizen instructors to levels that far exceed law enforcement and military standard. With nearly 1 million responsible citizens trained from every town, city, and state from across the United States, Front Sight has bolstered the Patriot movement to a whole new level. Contact Dan Sutterfield by phone at 573-762-2356 or 573-465-2356 or shoot him an email at domedan, DOMEDAN, at hotmail.com. This is a limited time opportunity. Don't miss it.
This is Tim Spencer sitting in for John Moore on this Thursday, the 15th day of August, year of our Lord, 2019. Right now we're visiting with Mr. Steve Hunt. Steve, we got about 3.5 minutes of airtime. Why don't you tell the people whatever... Oh, wait, Steve. We got Kyle in Montana on line 11, who I'm sure has a question for you. Kyle, you're on the air. We got about 3 minutes left.
Yeah, Steve, you brought up a couple of things in my thinking. How do you, I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate for this question. How do you know that depository isn't playing the same kind of a Ponzi scheme that the banks do with money? Because they don't have the money that's deposited in their account. It's just, a bunch of zeros and ones, and they might be counting that you'll never really ever want your silver back.
Well, me personally, I've been there probably 7 or 8 times. I've gone with clients to go there and check on their metal that wanted to see it and kind of be like Scrooge McDuck and go swim through it. So I've personally been to their facilities. It's a very large, secure facility, and I have complete and utter faith in it. My wife's account is actually through them and has her metal there. If I would never have moved my wife's retirement account over into there if I had any doubt in my mind. There are other facilities. There's a couple more that you can use. There's a couple Brinks facilities that will do precious metal holdings. One is in New York and one is in Utah. And other than that, that's the only ones that have been approved by the government for precious metal holdings.
Do they charge you to hold your silver?
Yeah, they do charge. They charge, I believe it's 1% of your retirement account is what their fee is.
Okay. Now, jumping track just a little bit because I know we're about out of time. Curious, when do you expect, or what do you think will precipitate silver running to like $40 to $50 an ounce?
Well, I think we just started it. I mean, this run, to see silver run up $3 in the matter of 6 weeks. I mean, that's incredibly fast. I mean, you guys have to understand, the last time gold moved $200 and silver moved $3 this fast was a span of almost a year and a half. I mean, back in 2008, it took a while for this type of move to get going, and as fast as the Treasury yielders are this whole thing with this thing inverting the way it did, the trade going on with China, and China's just throwing things against the wall, saying, maybe you guys will meet us halfway. What they're saying is trying to get their markets to move. Has nothing to do with us, and our people are reading that as optimism. It's not. I mean, Trump is not going to meet anybody halfway. He's pretty much made that abundantly clear that he's going to look out for the American people, and he's going to do whatever we have to make this an even trade. So I think this is going to speed up faster and faster. J.P. Morgan is telling people that they think the crash might happen within the next 2 months. I think it was Morgan Stanley said on CNBC the other day that they believe a Lehman-like crash will happen by the end of August. So everybody's predicting different times, but it seems to be unanimous that this is going to happen sooner than later.
I agree. Thank you, Steve. I really appreciate it when you come on, and I appreciate John.
I enjoy it.
You too, Steve.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your call. Oh, okay, Steve, we got about, it looks like a minute and a half. Go ahead and tell people whatever you want to tell them, buddy.
Since the last show last week, I've had a couple of callers call in, and I'm going to have to reiterate something because it seems like there's some people out there that have been buying in the past, probably years ago. They bought from some unscrupulous dealers, and they bought some, high-grade eagles, or they bought some bullion that they thought was something different, or they paid some ridiculous premiums on some coins. If you guys have metal, if you want to call me and get my email address or whatever you want and give me a list of what you have, you need to make sure that you're in the right product right now, because when silver doubles in price, you don't want to be saying, oh yeah, I'm going to make so much money, and then you call in and find out you're breaking even. That defeats the purpose of why you're investing. Make sure that you're in a product that's going to go up and you're going to make money in this, and that you didn't get ripped off. It's a phone call. I don't charge you anything for information. The info is free. So if you have metal, give me a quick call. Let me tell you whether you have something good or bad. You can remain anonymous on the phone. You don't have to tell me anything other than what you have, and I'll tell you if it's good.
Right. Now, let me ask you a real quick question. I guess we got about a minute more. Give me some examples, if you would, of good and bad. Just a few.
Bad, I've had people that have bought MS-70 gold eagles, and they're paying over $2,000 for them. When a gold eagle is bullion, you cannot you cannot take a bullion coin and glorify it and say it's MS-70. They're all MS-70s. They're uncirculated. So there's some dealers out there that are selling these coins and saying, oh, they're worth so much more money. They're not. There's people selling old fractional bullion, and they're doubling and tripling the price. That is junk. Bullion is bullion. The IRS is what determines what's bullion or not. If the IRS says we're going to 1099 you on this, it's bullion. I mean, don't let a dealer, sway you and say that this is something rare when it's really not. I mean, you got to be careful with what people are telling you.
Well, that I think would be very helpful to people. Steve, I thank you. I will be in touch eventually. Folks,
yeah, sounds good. It was nice talking to you again.
Thank you, Steve. We'll be back after the break with open lines. Go ahead and give us a call now, 1-800-313-9443.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the energy cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get an energy cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an energy cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the 15th day of August in the year of our Lord, 2019, and it's a Thursday. This is your host, Tim Spencer, sitting in for John Moore on The John Moore Show. I'll probably be here tomorrow, but I'm not sure. John might be back from what he's having to take care of. But we'll see what happens. Either way, it'll be a good show tomorrow. We start off with Tom Berryhill for 1 hour with emergency radio communications. And then we go to Dr. Lynn Wilbert on the second hour, and we talk about everything health-related. Call-ins are welcome on both shows. Okay, folks, this last half hour is open lines. You can give me a call at 1-800-313-9443. We'll talk about pretty much anything you want to. You guys pick the subject. Now, something I've been noticing, folks, and I'm sure you have too, is money doesn't go as far as it used to by any matter of means, especially if you're up in your 50s or 60s or 70s and you remember what prices used to be. But anyway, I'm going to throw out a few hints for ways you can make a few extra dollars. You're not going to get rich, but some ways you can make a few extra dollars. Number one, my personal favorite, and I'll start with that. I love what is called scrapping. Now, what do? Well, to start with, you check out your local scrap yards. You find out if they got a website, write it down, bring it home, put it on your computer, and you can always know what the price of scrap steel is, extruded aluminum, cast aluminum, brass, copper, number 1 copper, number 2 copper, and all that. Now, once you find out what there's a market for, if you have a trailer or a pickup, you can go out on trash days in various parts of your town or city and pick up scrap. Now, let's talk about picking up scrap. For steel, you want the heaviest scrap you can get. Otherwise, you're going to be loading up the back of your truck with old barbecue grills and get $5 at the scrap yard for an entire truckload. You don't take the barbecue grills, you take the cast iron grates out of them. Pipe, steel pipe, steel anything that's heavy. You get done with your area, you've got as much heavy steel as you can always loop back around and pick up the lighter stuff if you don't have a full truckload. Now, right now, at least here where I live, scrap steel is $80 a ton. Folks, an hour's work, anywhere around a large population, you can have a ton of steel. You're not picking up 1 ton at once. You're driving around looking for it sitting by the curb. You make 2 trips a day, folks, that's $160 in your pocket. Copper right now, I can tell you my local prices. Give me just a second. All right, aluminum cans, 35 cents a pound. Aluminum radiators, clean, 16 cents a pound. White aluminum case transmissions, $3 each. Brass, depending on the kind, anywhere from $1.25 down to 20 cents a pound. Copper, $2 a pound, all the way down to 10 cents a pound, considering what it is. Here's one that most people don't understand. You see a computer sitting beside the road. Pick it up. Bring it home. You can take low-grade, mid-grade, high-grade computer boards, hard drives, motherboards, silver memory cards, gold memory cards. Gold memory cards, by the way, go for $6 a pound. Silver memory cards, $2 a pound. But the key to making money on this is sorting. Now, if you just take them unsorted computer boards, you're going to get 10 cents a pound. You're losing a ton of money. And there's all kinds of things. And, like I said, right now, scrap iron, $80 a ton. And it doesn't take you, if you're in a good area, it doesn't take you an hour to load it up. Now, me, it'd take 3 days. Bouncing around on one leg trying to pick up somebody's old safe is not fun. So that would not work for me. But I still occasionally do go out and get copper wire, insulated copper wire, cut them off appliances. They're going to the landfill anyway, cut them off. All right, I've said enough about that. Got any questions? Give me a call, 1-800-313-9443. Second favorite option, Craigslist and eBay. My biggest source for finding stuff to sell on there is thrift stores. Anything from computer monitors to furniture, stuff like that. I just picked up a nice solid oak dining room table for free. All I had to do was load it and get it out of there. Also picked me up literally a brand new wheelchair, which I desperately needed. Again, free. See something sitting out beside the curb and you're not sure if it's trash or not, go knock on the door. All they can do is say no. I mean, that's what I did. Worked for me. So, the money's out there, folks. You just got to be willing to work for it. That's the whole thing. So that's my little tip of the day. It ain't a prepper tip of the day. It's a survival tip of the day in this economic situation we're in. If you're on a fixed income like me, every little bit helps. So, take it for what it's worth. You might totally reject it and say, I don't want to get my hands dirty going through other people's trash. Hey, that's up to you. They make gloves, though. I use them. But anyway, give me a call, folks, 1-800-313-9443. We'll talk about anything you want to. I'm going to switch back over here to the news real quick, see if anything interesting is going on. Okay. Tech CEO denies Epstein's alleged madam living at his oceanfront mansion. Okay, so what I said in the first hour is absolutely bad information. I apologize. I'm just telling you what I find written down. Gibraltar judge rules to release seized Iranian tanker. That's a good thing, in my opinion. Might have stove off the start of a war there. Okay. Here's a financial one. Euro and bond yields tumble as ECB official says stimulus measures may overshoot. All right, let's talk about what stimulus measures mean. Negative interest rates and unlimited digitally printing money. What does that do? It lowers the value of currency. Who does it hurt? It hurts people like you and me, folks. Prices go up. It is artificial inflation intentionally inflicted upon us by various governments, read central banks. Not a good thing. Okay, UK Home Office on lockdown after man stabbed. Remember, folks, carrying knives and guns in the UK is illegal, but they keep having all of these murders. Okay. Dow dumps back into red, erases meet halfway gains on Trump comments. I don't know what Trump's comments were, but like Steve Hunt said in the last half hour, Trump isn't going to give an inch. He doesn't have to. And Bitcoin back below 10,000 as 3 billion China Ponzi allegedly dumps crypto. So, they got out while the getting was good, caused price to go down. They flooded the market. Is it illegal? No. The fact is, it's actually smart on their part. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. Oh, man. Talk about crazy, folks. Police say motorist was playing Pokemon Go on 8 phones simultaneously. Well, so much for not texting and driving with this guy. It happened in Washington State last night. Okay, that's just too over the top. But it shows a picture here of a guy with it looks like a styrofoam board with 8 phones implanted in it and all of them on. Okay. Well, each their own, I guess. Seems kind of, it says he was parked on the shoulder. He wasn't driving. I don't know how you could drive and play on 8 different phones at once. Hell, I can't do it on one. And I pretty much know what I'm doing. New phone, though. Understandable. Everyone's different. Okay, folks, another subject I wanted to bring up, related to Firearms Monday. I never got a chance to ask my friend Sam Andrews a question I wanted to ask. So I'm going to ask you callers, and listeners, to give me a call and see what you think. My question to Sam, and this is a rural-based question, and that is, if you could only have one truck gun, what would it be? Now, mine is quite simple. It's a short-barreled 12-gauge shotgun, legal, by the way, with threads cut in it for rem chokes. Pump, 12-gauge, 870. I carry it on my ATV here on the farm. I've got a regular horse scabbard. I don't ride anymore because I can't stay on the damn horse with just one leg. It doesn't work well. And I don't like how hard that ground is. The older I get, the harder the ground seems to be. So that's my choice. I wanted to get Sam's opinion, and I'd like to get your opinion. So give me a call at 1-800-313-9443. Now, okay, let me see. Now, I want to go over a few things on John's website. Now, he doesn't go through it like I do. I'm the guy that maintains it, so I pretty much know it inside now. Now, if you look at it, if you mouse over the section at the top of every page, it says products. Well, he's got an AMSOIL store. He's a distributor for AMSOIL. You place an order there, you get tremendous AMSOIL products, plus you support John. Next one down is Amazon products. He's got a bunch of things there that he recommends. Yes, he does get a cut of the action on that, and he should. He's the one that put this list together. We've got Berkey water filters, which are pretty much self-explanatory. He's got doTERRA oils. He's got the energy cleaner, which we talked about in the first hour. Fantastic product. Now, next one down. I have this both on his website and ruralsurvival.show. Free downloads. Folks, if memory serves, there's like 4.5 gigabytes of free downloads there. For Health Masters, he's got a coupon code there. And he's got a coupon code for Simply Clean Foods. Now, at the very bottom, it says John's products. These are products that he actually has at his house that he sells. And I've been to his house, 100% valid. I've seen his product store. This is stuff he has. There's everything from Confederate battle flags to Faraday bags, videos that he's produced. Let's see, what else? And that's pretty much it right now. But anything that's not there, you can click on the Amazon products and see what he's got. Now, let's see. Also on his website, he's got the is links to other websites. These are really great websites, folks. I put them all up. I can't remember all of them. There's 30 or 40 of them there. Click on that link. It'll take you to that page. All those links open in a new tab. We got the AP World News feed. It updates every 10 minutes. You click on that. You can leave it on your screen and see what's going on all over the world. We've got open source intelligence. Now, folks, what this is, a person, group, however you want to say it, that I won't reveal because I've been asked not to, sends us a list of articles from around the world every day about this time. It should be coming in any minute. And I post them on that page. It's stuff that you will never, ever hear about on Fox News or CNN. Got a link to current precious metal prices. We've got a link to your local weather. This is determined by your IP address. You click on that, you get a fantastic forecast, current conditions, and all that stuff. So you might want to peruse John's website if you haven't been there for a while. This current version's been up about 6 months or so, maybe 5. I really worked hard on this, tried to make it super easy to navigate. Now, one of the other tabs up here at the top says Services. Click on that. Now, these are professional services that John coordinates and provides personally in some cases, along with contracted associates. Public speaking, John does that. Firearms proficiency and safety training, that is done by John at Freedom Center USA. Tactical security, strategic security, and emergency management consulting services. John does do that mostly by himself. There are a few contracted people that help. Private security assignments, give John a call at 314-965-3007, and you can start from there. We're not listing anything on the website about that. Lawful, military grade, and heavy weapons procurement. Yes, John does that. Anything from your basic full auto AK-47 to rocket launchers, 50 caliber machine guns, aerial denial weapons. It is legal to do that with the proper documentation. John is an expert on the proper documentations. Next thing is specialized and customized property/facility and personnel protective services. Again, call John at 314-965-3007.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Talk Right, the conservative app offered by TalkStream Live that caters exclusively to the conservative talk radio community. Here you'll see only talk shows and podcasts from the conservative right. All the big broadcast names and online digital shows in one place. Talk Right makes it easy to find all your favorite conservative talkers with all the upscale features you come to expect from TalkStream Live. Keep up with the fast-paced political world. Download Talk Right today from Google Play or the App Store.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Steve Spencer sitting in for John Moore on the 15th day of August, year of our Lord, 2019. I see my co-host from the Rural Survival Show is on the phone. Good morning, Rick.
Oh, good morning, Tim. How you doing?
I'm doing okay, buddy. What's up?
Fine. Oh, nothing. I shouldn't say nothing. Just a couple minutes. I would mention, I don't know if you want me to change the subject here at all, but
sure.
In the bond yields, the 2 and the 10 have finally inverted, so it's a full-on inversion. It's yesterday I think it was. But I could quote statistic after statistic that would indicate that this whole mess is being held together, not even by tape and bubble gum, but basically it's nothing more at this point than the confidence of the consumer. And the consumer, there are lots of statistics to indicate the consumer is about finished. They're tapped out, and their personal debt is all-time high. Personal defaults are at an all-time high, and the administration was basically, since the Federal Reserve has no more tools with which to try to correct the problem, they were counting on the consumer to spend us out of it, and it's according to the recent data, like as of yesterday, the consumer isn't going to be able to do that. So, so there's the good news for the morning. So I just thought I would bring that up. Yeah, it's yet at some point I think we're going to see something that is just absolutely amazing to behold, and I don't think
I agree.
I don't think we have too long to wait. I don't know for certain, but it certainly appears that things are actually speeding up.
Well, I agree, Rick. And as Steve Hunt and I were talking about, you've got some people saying crash by the end of the month, others saying end of the year. Now, that doesn't mean the dollar goes to zero. What that really means is the market loses X percent. I forgot what it was. There's a certain percentage. But from what I'm reading, some people are talking as much as a 60% drop. Now,
you're talking about in the stock? You mean in the stock market?
Yeah, stock market. Well, bonds are already crap. Bonds are gone. Right. In reality, anybody that invests in bonds right now is going to take a massive haircut at maturity because of inflation, not to mention the super low interest rates. And I personally believe we're going to see zero interest rates on bonds or negative within the next 6 months.
Well, Rick Santelli, I think late last week, or was it Monday, was going crazy on CNBS because we actually last week had a failed bond auction. They tried to sell some bonds at some point and couldn't do it.
Yep. Well, Rick, thank you for your call. I'll be in touch with you later today if you're not at work.
I will be. Nope. I'll see you.
All right. Anyway, folks, we'll be back same time, same channel tomorrow. Stay safe out there. Maintain your situational awareness, and bye-bye for now.